Summary of the Daughter of Auschwitz, The Girl Who Lived to Tell Her Story by Tova Friedman and Malcolm Brabant. Introduction The Daughter of Auschwitz, The Girl Who Lived to Tell Her Story is a profound memoir by Tova Friedman, one of the youngest survivors of the Auschwitz concentration camp, co-authored with journalist Malcolm Brabant. This book is a powerful recounting of Tova's experiences during the Holocaust, emphasizing not only her personal journey of survival but also the broader implications of remembrance and the duty to bear witness. Through her narrative, sheds light on the unimaginable horrors faced by millions, while also capturing the resilience of the human spirit. Early life in Poland. Tova Friedman was born in 1938 in Tomaszow, Poland, into Jewish family. Before the war, she experienced relatively normal childhood filled with love and familial bonds. However, the onset of World War I entered this tranquility. As Nazi forces invaded Poland in 1939, Tova's world began to crumble. The Jewish community faced increasing persecution, with restrictions on daily lives becoming more severe. Families were forced into crowded ghettos, and Tova's childhood innocence was replaced by fear and uncertainty. Tova vividly recalls the terrifying atmosphere of the ghetto. Food was scarce, and the constant threat of violence loomed over them. Despite the harsh conditions, her mother and father worked tirelessly to provide semblance of normalcy for Tova. They celebrated holidays, shared stories, and tried to maintain hope in an increasingly bleak environment. However, the reality was that many of their friends and relatives began to disappear, taken away by the Nazis. Deportation to Auschwitz. In 1944, Tova's family was rounded up and deported to Auschwitz-Birkenau, the infamous Nazi extermination camp. At just 6 years old, Tova experienced the horrors of the Holocaust firsthand. Upon arrival, the brutal selection process began, where prisoners were sorted into those who would live and those who would be sent to their deaths. Children were often deemed unfit for labor and sent directly to the gas chambers. Tova's heart-wrenching recollection of this moment reveals her confusion and fear as she clutched her mother's hand, unsure of what would happen next. Miraculously, Tova and her mother were chosen to live. But the journey of survival was far from over in Auschwitz. They were subjected to inhumane conditions, overcrowded barracks, inadequate food, and complete lack of medical care. Tova's mother played a crucial role in her survival, using her wits and determination to protect her daughter amidst the chaos. They formed bonds with other prisoners, creating makeshift families. They navigated the horrors of camp life together. Life in the camp. Tova's time in Auschwitz was marked by fear, hunger, and loss. She witnessed unimaginable brutality, including the deaths of fellow prisoners and the constant presence of death surrounding them. Tova's narrative emphasizes the psychological impact of living in such dire circumstances. She recalls moments of terror, but also glimmers of hope, such as small acts of kindness between prisoners. Tova's ability to remember the smallest details of surroundings serves to illustrate the stark contrast between her childhood dreams and the grim reality of camp life. Amidst the suffering, Tova often found solace in her imagination. She would escape into daydreams, allowing herself to envision life beyond the barbed wire. This coping mechanism became vital for her mental survival. However, the fear of separation from her mother always loomed large. The bond they shared was a source of strength, but it was wrought with anxiety as they navigated the constant threat of death. The march to liberation. As the war began to turn against the Nazis, Tova and her fellow prisoners faced the brutal reality of the death marches. In January 1945, as Soviet troops advanced, the Nazis began evacuating Auschwitz. Tova and her mother were forced to march for miles in freezing conditions, enduring violence and starvation along the way. Many prisoners did not survive the march, succumbing to exhaustion or execution. The account of this harrowing journey captures the desperation and determination of those who fought to stay alive, even when hope seemed lost. Eventually, they reached New Camp, where they remained for several weeks. Finally, on January 27, 1945, the camp was liberated by Soviet soldiers. Tova and her mother were among the few who survived, but liberation brought its own challenges. The psychological scars of their experiences remain, and they struggled to process the trauma they have endured. Tova's reflections on liberation highlight the complexity of survival. While freedom was relief, the memories of horror would haunt her forever. After the war, rebuilding life after liberation, Tova and her mother faced the daunting task of rebuilding their lives. They learned that most of their family members had perished in the Holocaust, leaving them with a profound sense of loss and grief. Tova's father had also survived, and the family was eventually reunited. However, the trauma of their experiences weighed heavily on them. In the years following the war, Tova and her family emigrated to the United States. Adjusting to a new life in a foreign country was challenging, but Tova's resilience shone through. She pursued an education and eventually became a therapist, channeling her experiences into helping others heal from trauma. Tova's journey reflects the struggles of many Holocaust survivors as they sought to find normalcy in a world forever altered by war. The importance of memory and education. One of the central themes of The Daughter of Auschwitz is the importance of memory and education. Tova emphasizes the necessity of sharing her story to ensure that the atrocities of the Holocaust are never forgotten. She believes that through education and remembrance, future generations can learn from the past and work to prevent such horrors from happening again. Tova's narrative serves as a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of empathy and understanding. She encourages readers to confront difficult truths about history and to honor the memories of those who suffered and perished. Through her own journey of healing and storytelling, Tova inspires others to find their voices and share their experiences. Conclusion. The Daughter of Auschwitz, the girl who lived to tell her story, is a poignant and essential memoir that captures the horrors of the Holocaust through the eyes of the child. Tova Friedman's narrative is both heartbreaking and uplifting, showcasing the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. Co-authored with Malcolm Brabant, the book is not just personal account but vital historical testimony that reminds us of the importance of remembrance. Education. Tova's story challenges readers to reflect on the past and to take action against hatred and intolerance in the present. Her journey from child in concentration camp to voice of remembrance is testament to resilience and the enduring power of hope. As we read Tova's account, we are reminded that it is our responsibility to carry forward the stories of those who came before us, ensuring that their legacies live on for generations to come.